oversees all, quite literally all of everything. This is very exciting. Blood Angels today. Plasma Painter thinks this is awesome, as do I. It will be awesome. There will be much blood, much discussion of the new Bale Strike Force. I'm very excited for this, my battle brothers. Mini Wargamer Dave here from MiniWargamer.com. Welcome Wargamers to the Shrine of Chaos. This is your first time watching the Shrine of Chaos. Having a little bit of a transmission error there. That's why the words that you just heard were a little bit jumbled. I'm going to have to fix this Voxcaster a little bit that my friend gave me just the other week because it helps all languages to be understood whilst coming out of the Shrine of Chaos. Carrots are very good. We're back on carrots. Going to lose some extra poundage. Trim the fat is what they call it. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about the new Blood Angels. I am very excited about the new Blood Angels. Got the Codex, got my new models, they're coming in. I have a decent amount of Blood Angels as part of my collection. Started collecting them a number of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. In there, it's within that realm of time. That's irrelevant to the awesomeness though. I am getting more models. I'm getting 4 new starter packs, and I'm getting more tactical marines. I'm getting some other named characters that I haven't had before. I just want to flesh out the army. Gabriel Seth, Lamardes, and I think there's one more. I can't quite remember. But the thing that stuck out to me was the changes that they've made from the old edition Codex to the new edition Codex, which is what we're going to be discussing in this video right here. This is actually going to be the first of many, and I'm using the Shrine of Chaos to start the very first one. We're going to be starting a discussion about this, and it's going to be the first portion of the Shrine of Chaos. Then we're going to resume with the regular Shrine of Chaos activities, such as Chaos Comet bombing someone who is unsuspecting, and we're going to have a Q&A at the very end. But the first part of this video will be a discussion on Blood Angels, so just so you know, just so you're aware. Okay, so if this is not something that you're interested in, then I suggest that you get interested in it really fast, because it's going to affect your life, and it's going to affect your life on the battlefield. I'm going to refer to the chat. I'm going to be referring to Facebook. I posted a post yesterday saying that I am that I have new Blood Angels and what are your thoughts on it, new discussion, reading the Codex and all that, and lots of good stuff. All I got to say, overall good, thumbs up good, overall. And so let's get to the specifics. There's some things that were weakened and some things that were strengthened, as they do with all Codex updates. But I want to focus on exactly what happened. I'm going to wait a second for people to enter the Shrine of Chaos more, just to get more of a discussion going. Mystics is the Sword of Justice wielder. He is the moderator in this discussion. This is going to be posted on YouTube afterwards, so if you're watching the recorded version, then you can still enjoy the discussion. So, Dr. Duncan James. I'm in England, and it is the evening. I'm going dancing soon and hoping to get a chance to say hi before I go out. Only just discovering the live show tab after nearly a year. Dough and excited. Awesome. There's never a time that's too late to join in on the live discussions. Plasma Painter. Got so excited for the show, then an ad pops up. Why, Twitch, why? Well, they still got to make money, and they got to enable themselves to be able to do what they do, so it's understandable. And then Dr. Duncan James again says, because chaos. No mercy, Mike. Think of it like this, Mist. Dave is a champion of Khorne. He was probably out collecting skulls for the Skull Throne, which would explain the tardiness. Oh, you're wondering why I started at 304/305-ish as opposed to on 3 Eastern Standard Time? Well, let me tell you. The reason is... Alright, Colbeck says, hi all, Chaos Rules. Dave, did the cockroach taste like... What did the cockroach taste like? Well, the cockroach tasted like nothing, really. Nothing at all, man. I'm telling you, Champion of Chaos doesn't taste nothing when it's munching on the enemy that is going to eat. Chaos eats bugs for breakfast. That's all I gotta say. That's what happens. So that's all it is. And we go into a Zen mode when that happens. And when that happens, we can conquer the universe. So let me tell you, okay? Works like a charm every time. I'd do it again. In fact, I'd eat a live one. If you think I'm joking, I'm not. I would do it. Totally. Yeah, I'm going to challenge Neil to do that. Neil's the guy who challenges me to do this. But we're actually doing another challenge, which is like it's a quantity eating challenge, and I can tell you what it is yet, but we're discussing ideas as to the next challenge. But enough of that right now. Hey Dave, I got a new Blood Angels dex as well. I think a Corvolo-led ally detachment will be awesome. Yes, he is the guy that gives you the feel no pain, and he's like the sanguinary priest, who's an awesome sanguinary. He's a beefed out sanguinary priest. But in this particular video, I'm going to be discussing the major changes, not all of them because I can't do it in the amount of time, and I actually want to make a series of videos where I focus on specific things, comparing the old Codex to the new Codex. I want to do that, make a series of videos, because if I were to be learning, that's something that I would want to see, to be like knowing my army better. I'd want to see a comparison from the old to the new, because we spent all this time learning the old stuff, and then this new comes out, and we get it mixed up in our minds, and it's good to see a comparison and it being explained. And also, by teaching, you learn better. And I'm really just doing this for me, so I learn it better. So completely selfish reasons, which we are all beneficiaries of. So we can all share in that goodness. Dave, what is a good set of units to start a Space Marine army? Also, what is your favorite Blood Angel unit? Well, it used to be Assault Marine, but now... okay, well, my favorite unit is probably Death Company, just because of how awesome they are. Yes, they're expensive, comparatively speaking, but their fluff and their look and their brutality on the battlefield just makes them my favorite. Doesn't have to mean that they're the most tactical or the most anything. I get the most joy out of bringing them and killing stuff with them. That's the answer to that question. David just saw the flack you got for the rules and the bat reps. I think they're just jealous of how awesome you are. You are one of the best things on YouTube, dude. Thank you very much, Dr. Duncan James, for saying that. That makes me, that feels good. That makes me feel good. And I really appreciate your support. And I understand what's been happening as of late pertaining to the rules, errors, and mistakes in battle reports. And let me just say something about that. In all seriousness, I try my best to get the rules right. And there's a lot of time spent off camera looking up rules and referencing things and trying to make it right. And so and then there's also forgetting of rules, which I already know, whilst videotaping the battle report at the same time. So, and add that to the fact memory problems, because I joke about that and I say I have a 5-second memory, but I'm actually serious when I say that. The other night, and this is scary, this happened to me. I was holding my baby boy, feeding him, and his name's Ryan, right? And I was thinking to myself, Ryan, David? David's his middle name, right? I can't remember 100%. I would not dress bet this. I can't believe I can't remember with 100% certainty the middle name of my son. What is going on up here? That's actually very scary, and I got freaked out when that happened. And I was just like, okay, that's it. That's the start of the deterioration, and that I don't even know what to say about that. So that actually honestly freaked me out when that happened, because I thought, this is ridiculous. And this is happening in amongst the time of all the rules comments and, oh, you're getting all these rules wrong. How can you get these wrong? This is what you do for a living. This is your job. You should get these rules right. And that happened to me. I thought, there's something happening here. That's not a normal thing, right? And I think it has to do with the medication that I'm taking. And that sounds like a joke, but it's actually not. I say that in all seriousness. There is particular medicine that I take on a daily basis, and I believe that it might actually make my mind foggy at times. And so that would make sense. That has to make sense because it never used to be like this before. It used to be clear. I used to have a good memory. I remember growing up as a kid, I had a great memory. My dad would say to me all the time, "How do you remember that?" I got a bad memory. So maybe it's some genetics, some hereditary stuff. I don't know. I don't know how it all works. All I know is that it's actually, I do put forth a concerted effort into getting the rules right. And there might be times when it's like, Dave, that's a basic rule of the game. How do you get that wrong, man? It just happens. Mistakes happen. And when there's time and pressure and speed and creating a different army per bat rep, a lot of times what people do is they have their army that they play with. And they might tweak a model here or a unit there, but it's basically their army that they play with, right? So they get to know that army very, very well. They know all the ins and outs, all the rules, and everything about that army. When I make a video, it's a different army every time. Every single time. It's a different configuration. And that's what I try to do, to give it variety and make it interesting. And so it is a matter of learning different rules for different units and crossing between armies and also capacity. I don't compare myself to anyone else in terms of ability to retain rules or anything because I know it's silly to do that. It's not, people have different strengths, right? So mistakes are made. But just know that I do try my best when it comes to it. And so, and I understand there's always going to be people making comments. I view YouTube as like the street, and so people are going to just like kind of throw stuff at you, and you can't help it, right? But I appreciate the people that are encouraging and that understand everything and kind of understand how it works and what happens, and that you don't see that every day, and that's fun to see. I like seeing that. I would pay for that show because that's a good thing that would happen. Like I have a whoa. Well, there's got to be something. I'm seeing this twice too because I'm seeing the echo behind the screen. I don't even know why that happened, and I'm just gonna take another bite out of this because it's so random. All right. Okay. Yes. Please do. Whoa. I'm completely thrown off by that. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love that man. He's a good man, and I do love him. And I tell him often. But anyway. I just realized I took another bite out of this, and it's probably annoying listening to the crunching, so I apologize. For the next 20 seconds, I'm going to go over here so I can chew not in your ear. All right, there we go. Okay, so a question here. Dave, what do you think about an unbound army like Blood Angels and Chaos Space Marine Mark of Khorne would be awesome craziness for close combat? So when you say Mark of Khorne, you're talking about on Chaos Space Marine, so not Demons of Khorne. So you're talking Mark of Khorne. And unfortunately, and I got to say this, and it hurts me to say this because it's the truth, but Mark of Khorne is not the most competitive. It's not the best in close combat. There's other marks that are actually better in close combat, like Slanesh, where you get to attack first. I would get Marcus Slanesh with Icon of Excess, giving you feel no pain. See, that makes a lot more sense to me to have that on your close combat guys than a couple extra attacks if you get the charge. So that's just logic, right, to me. Or even Nurgle. Nurgle is a higher toughness, so it's harder for people to hurt you. Fear with the Icon of Despair, that doesn't matter so much. Who cares about that, right? Unless you're fighting a bunch of horrors, and it doesn't matter anyway. But Slanesh is combat, unfortunately. That's what it is. Even demons, man. Demons, they have rending. There's demonettes. Demonettes over bloodletters. That'd be interesting. In fact, that'd be an interesting who would win. What's the best demon to bring as allies or with whatever? Should probably make a video of that. I'm curious, just for my own, if I want to know. Dave, if you send some Swedish surströmming, will you eat it as an eating challenge? I heard that that is something that is like rancidly putrid, and if you send it this way, there's a chance that content will not be made for like a week here in the office. So I don't suggest sending it, but maybe what you could do is send me a link and send me to a place where I could get it myself, and I can go open it up in a field and just do the challenge there if I do the challenge. So that's actually a good idea to do that for the challenge. Anyway, let's talk about some Blood Angels, because that's what we're going to talk about today in the show. Some of the biggest changes. And like I said before, this isn't going to be the only video where I talk about this. I want to make a series of videos where I pinpoint before and after new Codex, old Codex, and pros and cons and everything. Okay, this is just an introduction to that. So one of the biggest changes is Assault Marines are no longer troops choices. They were before, and that made Blood Angels sick. That made them awesome close combat, fast attacking army. No longer the case. They are fast attack. No more Red Thirst rolls, which is amazing. For those of us who don't know what Red Thirst rolls are, before what it was is at the beginning of the game, what you would do is like, and this is like before deployment, you roll a die, and on a 1, you would give that unit Furious Charge. And if you brought Asterath, then it's like on a 1, 2, or 3 or something. That might be opposite. It might be 4+. Whatever it is, it's a 50-50 chance of getting Red Thirst, getting Furious Charge. Okay, the basic rule, Furious Charge. Now, instead, everything that is important to get it pretty much gets it. And that's actually a much better thing. So your guys have Furious Charge, which is great because you want your guys to have Furious Charge. You don't want that to be a choice. And I understand like the fluff reason to throw that in there, but now they're just giving that to you. They're making that a thing that you get, which I appreciate. I like that. I like how it's happening. Mephiston, we'll come back to that one. Mephiston, he's and the reason why I mentioned him is because I used him a lot before in the battle reports, and he just kind of defaulted as my favorite HQ to use. And the reason why he became that is because it was the model that Paul painted, and so he was the one that was here that I was able to use a lot. I didn't have any other HQ characters before, so I just used him. He was the default. So he got, it's funny, he got better and worse, which means it was a lateral move, but I think a lateral move in the right direction. So I say slightly better in his case. But like I said, we'll come back to it. Another big thing is Furioso Dreadnought with Blood Talons. Before, what it did was, and I'm going to read exactly what it did, because it was huge what it did before. It says, for every unsaved wound caused with a Blood Talon in close combat, the Dreadnought immediately makes an additional attack. These extra attacks can generate further additional attacks in the same way, until no further unsaved wounds are caused, or all the enemy are slain. This is in the old Codex. In the new Codex, what they do is they give you Shred. And it's like Strength 6 AP2, giving you Shred. I have to double check the AP2 part, but what it comes down to is not as good. So that got nerfed a little bit, which is a little bit disappointing because that was one of the best things about Blood Angels and Dreadnoughts and setting them apart from all the other Dreadnoughts that are out there is the Blood Talons. And, you know, like I remember the very first time that I saw him in action, which was really good, was when I fought against Dan, Codex Dan, and his orcs. He charged a whole bunch of boys into the Furioso Dreadnought, thinking that he could hurt it. I'm not sure how he thought that, but maybe it's because he had no idea of the stats of the Dreadnought or something. This was like new when he was first starting making videos. And the Furioso Dreadnought did his thing, and he kept on wounding. They kept on being more unsaved wounds, so he kept on making more attacks and more wounding, and he took out the entire squad in one round, and it was one of the most amazing things that we had both ever seen. I was in awe, and Dan was in awe, and we were both shocked, and I was loving it, and Dan was like, well, I know never to do that again. Holy, I can't believe that happened. But it happened, and it was pretty amazing, and it's not going to happen anymore. So that's a memory of distant past, and it's not going to be a thing, unfortunately. That is one of the nerfs. All right, psychic powers. Let's talk about this. There is a sanguinary psychic discipline, and the psychic powers themselves have changed. They've tweaked them a little bit, and the same psychic powers that they had before are the same named and they do similar things, but they happen slightly differently. I'm not going to go into detail as to what they are and what they do specifically. That'll be a separate video. But what I will say here is that they've added a new Primaris power, and their Primaris power is actually, it's good. It's better than some of the other powers that you could possibly get or want. And what it does is, it's a blessing that targets a Psyker or another character, friendly character, 12-inch blessing. And what it does is it gives you fleet and +3 initiative, or plus D3 initiative and attacks. So that's good. That's a good thing. I mean, fleet and more initiative and attacks is always a good thing. Kind of sounds like a certain ability that I think Biomancy has. It sounds familiar anyway. But those are some of the big changes. Another one is, no, never mind. I was going to say tanks, but the tanks are, I think they, let me double check this. I don't want to get this wrong. Bell Predator. I think that's no longer a fast attack. I think that's a heavy support. But let me double check that just to make sure that's right. Okay, where is it? That is a, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like it is it's heavy support now. It used to be fast attack, which was crazy because you could bring fast attack predators and heavy support predators. And the predators, the regular predator, heavy support predator, is no longer a fast vehicle. It's just a vehicle. Bell Predator is still a fast vehicle. And fast vehicles in the Codex, they're called overcharged engines. They have the special ability, and it just gives them the fast type. But not everything has it anymore, obviously. It's just that. Which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, that's the thing about the Blood Angels. It's kind of, you want them to be fast, and you want them to be up there in the enemy's face. Yeah, I'm going to look at some of the comments now in the live chat. See what we got going on here. I apologize for the screen here. I see that it's not focused. It's focused in the background, but not here. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you want to see the Warhound. All right, I'm just going to randomly choose some comments here. So, Dave, do you have an opinion on the overall structure of the book? What do you think of scouts versus tacticals for troops? I think scouts are actually more viable now. I would get more Blood Angel scouts, and I would bring them more. Tacticals are, I never actually brought a whole lot of tacticals before because of the Assault Marines, because they were tacticals, or they were troops choices, but since they are no longer troops choices, I'm going to be bringing more tactical Marines and scouts, a combination of the two. It's just a smart thing to do. Oh yeah, that's right, the Magna Grapple did get nerfed. It's not a big thing because I never brought it before, but I think I brought it like once or twice ever. Like, it's not one of those things that like changes the army. Oh, I'm not going to bring Blood Angels anymore because the Magna Grapple didn't work. But they totally changed how it works. It's like not even the same at all. And I don't remember the specifics on how it changed. I just remember that it changed. Is Lamarte's a good Blood Angel HQ? I never brought him before because I never had the model. But he's a beefy chaplain, essentially. I actually had the model before when Paul painted him up and I used him, but I just used him as a regular chaplain. And he gives you hatred, essentially. Alright, so the auto last predator can buy overcharge and is still cheaper than a bell. Does this mean predators might actually be useful? Interesting. So what I did is I skimmed over the Codex. I didn't spend a lot of time reading it in depth. So if that is correct, that sounds awesome. And I guess the one thing that you get with a Bell Pred is your Flamestorm Cannon, and that's the reason why you would want it, because it's got that. But if you're killing Marines that are that close to you, chances are they're going to be able to get you in close combat. So it's like a one-trick pony thing anyway. So maybe a better option is to get Blast Preds as opposed to Bale Preds. Maybe they've nerfed them completely. I don't know. I played a game just over an hour ago, and Lamarty's did a lot for me. Dude, you played a Blood Angels game just over an hour ago, and now you're on the show? That is awesome. I commend you. Do you think they took out Assault Marines as troops because they wanted to sell more Blood Angel tactical boxes? That is very possible. I wouldn't put it past them. But they already sell a lot of those. Well, I guess, who knows, right? It's still new, but I was thinking of regular tacticals. But Blood Angel tacticals, maybe. It's possible. You know what? They're a miniature selling company. They sell miniatures. And they do that a lot with the rules that they give to the miniatures. And so it's possible. That's a good theory. Now you'd bring Lamarty's more because he's an elite choice and not an HQ. Your HQs have limited slots. So that's kind of good. I'm suspicious that they'll come out with a supplement like they did for the other codexes where they have some sort of tweak to Assault Marines. I am hoping for that so much. Just like the Champions of Fenris for Space Wolves, I hope they come out with a Codex supplement for Blood Angels. That would be amazing. And I suspect that they will, because at the end of the day, what that means is they're going to sell more models, and they're going to sell more Assault Marines. So I hope that they do that, where a certain formation makes Blood Angel Assault Marines troops choices. I think that would only make sense, and I think it would be a fantastic idea if they did that, and I hope they do that. Dave, what do you think about the new bases for Blood Angels being bigger than normal Marines? Don't have a box of Blood Angel Marines yet, man. I couldn't tell you. I ordered, and they're coming in, so I haven't actually examined them. Maybe I should do some unboxing videos. What do you think? Should I do some unboxing videos of the new sets that I'm getting? Just throwing that out there. Of course, they will make an assault from information. It only makes logical sense. The real Ezreal. Yes, I agree. Hey, Dave, have you got the Death Storm kit? That's the one I'm getting. In fact, I'm getting 4 of them. 4 Death Storms. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm getting 4. Why 4? Well, it's because I like to live in excess, and in that vein, that I guess that makes me part Slanesh. But I also wanted to give one away as a prize at some future point. So, because you would think, well, I already have a lot of the same models. Why would I need more of the same? But I just want to have a big Blood Angels force, because I just want more. Here's a good question. Now that Blood Angels are out like this, what does it mean for you playing the Wolves? I'll still play Wolves. Wolves are still new. I'm going to be playing both. I'm going to be focusing on Blood Angels for the next little bit, but I don't even have my new stuff in yet, so it's going to be Wolves in the meantime, man. Wolves and Chaos in the meantime. I'm not going to abandon my Wolves. They're still new. But definitely a concentration of Blood Angels when all the new stuff comes in. It just makes sense. I bought Death Storm myself, of course. I also have a lot of nids. Titan looks awesome in the background. Thank you. I have fielded him multiple times in various bat reps that have not been released yet. One of which is in a certain campaign that we've been working on. We have one more mission left, and then the whole thing is wrapped. So we did 11 reports for that, and Steve and I. And it's been fun, man. Let me tell you, it's been crazy, awesome, close call, close game, good sportsmanship, bantering, fun. It's been awesome. It's been my favorite campaign, set, mission, bat reps that I've ever done. So hopefully that's transparent in the battle reports, and that you see that and you feel that. So that's just that's the hard work that we've been doing recently. I also got 4 Death Storms. It gives me two 10-man squads of Terminators and Death Company. I got a lot of Death Company. I got like 40 of them right now, and I'm going to be getting more. And so one can never have too many Death Company, especially ones with jump packs. I don't have too many of those. In fact, I don't know if I have any of those. I might have 5 or 10, but that's it. It's not many, and I need more of those. What do you think of allying the new Blood Angels with Dark Angels, for instance? I don't play with Blood Angels, I don't play with Dark Angels, rather, at all. So the idea sounds cool, but I don't know the specifics of the army to say if that would be good or not. I'm always up for anything when it comes to that stuff. And if anything, I'd probably ally my Blood Angels with my Space Wolves. I think that would make a lot of sense. And something that I do want to do, this is a goal that I have in the future, and it's to gather up all of the chapter tactics that are given in specific chapters in the Space Marines Codex, and to create those units and to combine them all into one army. I think that would be a lot of fun to do that, and it would be crazy on the battlefield. It would probably have to be an unbound game, but apparently I've inadvertently created this thing for myself where I play a lot of unbound armies. So I guess that's just the play style that I gravitate to. It's unbound, because I don't like following the rules. Just in case you didn't know. Death Company are good, but they didn't do well against my Eldar the other night. You're talking about that in a vacuum, my friend. So that's like saying, that the Blood Angels Death Company didn't do well against your Eldar. Like, if you say that, it's like, well, maybe next time they could have beaten them, or maybe if they're fighting something else, they would have done better. So it's hard to say. I wouldn't put it past you. I would think that they would probably kill them, because Eldar are Eldar and they have trickery, and that's just not fair. It's called Angels of Death, Dave. You could ally with Steve, I bet. Angels of Death, that sounds very familiar. In fact, we were talking about that the other day. Angels of Death. I want to do it. Twitch is really hating me at this moment. How is the sound? I can ask you for a sound test, and if it's staticky, I will unplug and then plug back in. Now, let's go to Facebook, and we're going to look at some of the comments there, because I left a comment. I said, I'll be making a bunch of review videos of the new Blood Angels Codex. I'm thinking of doing a comparison from old to new. What are your thoughts on the new Codex? Here are some of the thoughts. This is what Grant Hutchings says. My problem with the book is that it can be argued that it is an improvement. But it basically forces you to play them like vanilla Space Marines, with the lack of Assault Marines as troops and all their support elites choice shoved into the HQ slot. They have lost most of it, not all their originality and flavor. I feel this partially has to do with the existence of Unbound in the rules. They're removing force reorganizing rules, because if you want to play a themed force, just play Unbound. More so than ever before, I feel as if Blood Angels have so little originality left that they should just be included in the Vanilla Codex with some chapter tactics, like what happened to Black Templars. In fact, many of the chapters in the Vanilla Codex with their chapter tactics are far better than Blood Angels. Only now do people realize Matt Ward was really good at making fun, interesting codices, where you would play the way you wanted to instead of being locked into tacticals and scouts. All we need now is the next Dark Angels being unable to make Ravenwing or Deathwing themed forces, and Chaos Lords not making their respective Chaos Marks unit troops. Nope. Need to pay a pointless tactical marine or scouts tax in a Death Company army. Very interesting. So you got some strong opinions there. I would say that overall the Codex is better, because you can feel it now and it's competitive. Before it was like, no, things are costing way too many points for stuff, even though the Assault Marines were troops, and it's overall better. Let's see here. Panagoitis says, Assault Marines should have never friggin' ever been troops. Blood Angels are Codex chapter. They follow the Codex, but have their own gimmicks and particularities, but unlike Dark Angels and Space Wolves, they, and I repeat myself, follow the Codex. So you talk about fluff there. And I guess that's open to debate, right? That's open to opinion discussion. But that's something I always liked about the Blood Angels, the fact that their Assault Marines were troops. Is that why I collected them in the first place? Let me actually think about this. Why did I start collecting Blood Angels in the first place? I wanted to collect a new army at the time. At the time, it was new. They had just come out with it. That was another pro, because I knew that it would be good and people would want to watch it, right? And I'm like, you know what? If I like it anyway, then it's good. It kind of kills two birds with one stone, right? Collect an army that people would be interested in, and collect an army that I like the visual look of, and one that I would enjoy playing. So everyone wins, right? But that being said, I wouldn't just collect an army just because people would be interested in it. I wouldn't do that. People could be interested in seeing a certain army where they just sit back and shoot others and don't know how to do close combat, and people would want to see that. That doesn't mean that I would collect the army and play with it. I got some standards here. All right. Too much blood, not enough angels, says Michael Allison. Now I'm going to go back to the chat here. I forgot the Assault Marines were Troop Choices, Blood Angels. I've already taken Exacto Knives to some of my angels to rearrange things like hand flamers and infernal pistols and give them to my tactical sergeants. Even cut myself and bled for them. Well, that's what you do when you're assembling your Blood Angels. That's right. I have to say, Dave, so far this is my best Shrine experience. Good topic for sure. Thank you, The Real Ezreal. I appreciate that. What do you think of Dread Libbies? How would you use them? Oh, interesting question. This goes to the Furiosa Dreadnought Librarians and the psychic powers that I would give them. You know what? Okay. I was going to make a separate video for this, but I'm just going to discuss it here. I'm going to discuss the sanguinary discipline a little bit, because psychic is huge. People, they like psychic stuff. So, Fear of the Darkness. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to look it up in the old one here, and I'm going to compare it. This is going to be a comparison. It's going to turn into a comparison of the old and new, because this is interesting. Fear of the Darkness. Let's start with that. I already mentioned what the Quickening is. That's the Primaris power. That's the Blessing, and it's Fleet in D3 attacks and initiative. That's the Primaris power, which is good. I'd probably get that. Well, it's Psychic Focus anyway, if you just use a Sanguinary Discipline. But Fear of the Darkness. This is the old ability. Start with the old one, okay? Shooting attack, enemy within 24 inches. That unit must immediately take a morale test with -2 penalty to their leadership. All normal modifiers and or exceptions apply. Like units that are that are immune to that, right? So what this says is Malediction targets a single enemy unit within 12 inches. Instead of 24, so that got nerfed a little bit. And they take a morale check with -2 leadership modifier. Okay, so it looks like it's pretty much the exact same thing with the exception that you lost 12 inches. So that's not the best. Let's go to Unleash Rage. This is the old one. So at the start of the player's assault phase, Librarian and his unit have the preferred enemy special rule until the end of the turn. What it says here is it's a Blessing, and it targets a single friendly unit within 18 inches. And whilst the power is in effect, the target has the Rage special rule. If the target already has the Rage special rule, they instead have +1 attack whilst the power is in effect. So that's actually better. I would say that's better. By the way, these are both Warp Charge 1. So that's a good thing to note. Shield of Sanguinius. The old one is the Librarian and any unit within 6 inches receive a 5+ cover save until the end of the phase. Shield of Sanguinius in the new Codex says all models in the Psyker's unit, it's a Blessing, and all models in the Psyker's unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. So that is better than a cover save. So that got a bit better. But the old one, it's anything within 6 inches of him, whereas this is the Psyker and his unit have an invuln save. So I guess that's disputably makes it not as good, because you can affect more units with the other one. But oh, and here's the other thing too. In the old Codex, you can use Shield of Sanguinius on your Dreadnought. In the new one, can you do that? Yeah, you can still do it, because you just targets a Psyker, right? So you can still do it. I was thinking of something else. Let's go to Blood Boil. Blood Boil in the old one is this. Shooting attack automatically hits automatically in a unit within 12 inches. One model in that unit suffers a wound with no armor saves allowed. The victim of Blood Boil is chosen by your opponent, unless the total of the dice rolled for the psychic test is 5 or less, in which case the Librarian's controlling player chooses. So in the new one, it says it's a focused Witchfire, which is kind of is the same thing there. It's 18-inch range as opposed to 12, so that increased a bit. And the target must take 2 toughness tests. For each test that is failed, the target loses a single wound with no saves of any kind allowed. So that's better, because the old one was just armor saves. Now this one is no saves of any kind. And if the target is slain, slender the large blast marker over the target before removing him as a casualty. All other models under the marker suffer a strength 4 AP5 hit with the ignores cover special rule. So that makes that ability much better. That is a much, much better ability. That kills hordes very well. I would take that. So not only do you gain range, you gain more killing capability. Bloodlance. This is one that was a favorite of mine. I used to bring this all the time on my dreadnoughts and on my librarians. All the time, bring the Bloodlance. So this is what it was, okay? Extend a straight line. It's a shooting attack. Extend a straight line 4d6 inches long from the librarian's base in any direction. This is the path taken by the Bloodlance. Any enemy unit in the last path suffers a single strength 8 AP1 hit with the lance type. And then it says friendly units, enemy units locked in close combat are unaffected. The new one says it's 12-inch range, strength 8 AP1, assault 1 lance. So it's no longer 46 inches, it's 12-inch range. And it's a beam. So that's that's essentially what it was before. But that got nerfed a bit. And also that's Warp Charge 2, which surprises me. You would think that'd be Warp Charge 1. But Wings of Sanguinius. I say out of all the psychic abilities, this is the one that changed the most. And what it was before is it's a power that was used in the librarian's movement phase and lasts for the rest of the turn and allows the librarian to move as if he had a jump pack. A librarian riding a bike that uses the Wings of Sanguinius moves as if he was riding a jet bike. Okay, so that's what it was in the old Codex. Basically, you're given a jump pack, right? And the new one, it's a blessing that targets a single friendly infantry unit within 12 inches. So before it only affected the librarian, and the new one it's a blessing and targets a single friendly infantry unit. So that could be him or a unit, and it's within 12 inches. Unless locked in close combat, the target immediately makes a move up to 12 inches. This move cannot end on top of another unit or impassable terrain, but ignores intervening units, terrain, etc. The model that starts or ends this move in difficult terrain must take a dangerous terrain test, as per what you would normally expect. The target unit cannot charge in the same turn that this power is used, and all other models in the unit counting is moved in the movement phase for the purpose of the shooting weapons in the shooting phase. So that's the one thing that kind of sucks about that. You can't use your Wings of Sanguinius. You can't move Wings of Sanguinius, shoot, then assault. You can move Wings of Sanguinius, shoot, but you can never assault after using it, and that stinks. So I was when I was reading it, like, oh, cool, you get to move in the psychic phase. I mean, when does that happen, right? But that makes it not as good, especially with Warp Charge 2. What it does do, though, is in some circumstances that would be good, because not only does it just target your psyker, but it can target a friendly unit. So not just one guy's affected, but a whole bunch of guys is affected. So that's a big deal. Let me check and see if it says infantry. It does say infantry unit, so you can't use that on a tank. Because my first automatic thought was, well, I'm just gonna put that on my Land Raider, and I'm gonna put that up the board. But no, that's not allowed. And my second thought was, I'm gonna put that on my Furiosa Dreadnought. I can put him up the board, but that's also not allowed. So that's the one thing that kind of nerfs that. But I mean, if you're far away from the enemy, I mean, why not? But the thing is, would I want to get that? Would I want that to be the thing? Probably not anymore. It used to be, but it's not. I think the things that I would want to get now are Blood Boil, because that's the one where you can kill. That has a lot of killing potential. Bloodlance is also a good thing, but that might be tied with Unleashed Rage. And these things that you roll for these anyway. You can't control which ones you get, but the ones that I would want, right? Unleash Rage is 18 inches, and you have Rage special rule, and you get +1 attack as well if you already have Rage. So that makes it useful. +1 attack. And you know what? It targets a single friendly unit within 18 inches. So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Okay, just imagine this, all right? You imagine your Death Company. They got more attacks anyway, right? There you go. Unleash Rage. You get another attack now because you already got Rage. So have fun in close combat, boys. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I can see uses for that, definitely. And even if not, I mean, giving yourself Rage, that's a good thing too. One last thing I want to talk about before I go on with the rest of the show. The Chaos Comet Bomb and the FAQ at the end. Not FAQ. The call-in. FAQ. Yes, it is FAQ. Oh, I don't even know why I got that messed up. Is the Bale Strike Force. Now, the Bale Strike Force is it's the Blood Angels detachment that you get in the Codex. And there's 2 command benefits that you get. First off, the requirements are 1 HQ, 2 troops, and 1 elite. So that's your Force Org. That's what you must bring. Okay. Your command benefits are the Angel's Virtue, which is something that's common. Everything gets this. You roll the result when rolling on the Warlord traits in the Codex. So that's kind of a common thing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes this unique. The Red Thirst. Now, I explained at the beginning what the Red Thirst was, but for people who have jumped on later on, this is what the Red Thirst was. Before the game started, before deployment, you would roll a die for each unit, infantry unit, that had the Red Thirst rule. And on the roll of a 1, they would gain Furious Charge. Now, the Red Thirst, what this does is, in a turn in which a model from this formation or detachment charges into combat, the model adds 1 to its initiative characteristic until the end of the assault phase. A model that has made a disorder charge that turn receives no benefit from the Red Thirst. So what that is doing is basically giving you the old Furious Charge. Furious Charge back in 5th edition, that gave you +1 strength, +1 initiative. That's what made Khorne Berserkers awesome. I remember that. I remember that's why that's why I bolstered my Khorne army, right? So what this is doing is that's bringing that back. That's making that a good thing because +1 initiative is a big deal. That's a huge deal. So, and let me see here. And it says a turn in which a model from this formation or detachment charges into combat. So the good thing about that is all units from the detachment must have Blade faction. So, I mean, it's got to be the same thing for everything. It's everything, right? I think I'm understanding that correctly. Everything from this formation or detachment, which is part of this. So anything that charges gets +1 initiative because it's part of the Bale Strike Force. So does that mean that my Terminators with their Lightning Claws get +1 initiative? Does that mean that my Death Company get that too when they charge into combat? Because if that is the case, then that makes Blood Angels awesome. That right there makes the Codex awesome and playable and competitive because that is a big deal. With all the Space Marine chapter armies out there, attacking first is a big deal. It only happens in the first round of combat, and you got to get the charge, right? That's what it says. Well, it says in the first round of combat. That charges into combat. That's what it says. So same thing as Rage. You only get your attacks if you charge. So that's great. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be bringing the Bale Strike Force, and I'm going to be charging the enemy with that, attacking first, especially the Space Marines. If they're Eldar, probably not. They're going to probably get me with their Howling Banshee initiative higher than me. But okay. Dave, what do you think of the Relic Angel's Wing? I say Exterminatus is definitely good since sold out. Okay, so like I said, I was just going to go over that, and then I'm going to go into the regular Shrine of Chaos scheduled events. So I'm not going to be discussing any more of the Blood Angels Codex in this episode of Shrine of Chaos. But what I will do is a Chaos Comment Bomb. Now, for this particular Chaos Comment Bomb, I'm going to do something special because this is something that means a lot to me. 1 second. There we go. There it is. What? Oh, that's not it. Bear with me just for a sec here. That's not it either. Where is it? Okay, well, the easiest way to find this is to go back here and find it here. That's the easiest way to find it. And this is what we'll do. Alright, bear with me just for 1 sec here, guys. For those of you who don't know what a Chaos Comment Bomb is, what I do is I'm going to grab a link to a YouTube video. And I'm going to post it in the chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave comments on this video. And typically, the comments that I suggest that people leave are Shrine of Chaos sees you, Eye of Terror loves it when you fight with Korn, and you know, that type of comment. But on this particular video, I would request that you leave a comment that shows something like that shows a genuine reaction to what you're about to see. I'm about to show you a movie trailer, and this is the movie trailer to the movie that I was in, that I filmed in the summertime. It's a trailer, the official trailer to the Rangers, and I would sincerely ask that you leave a comment and that you leave something, whatever you think. Just leave a comment on it. And maybe at the end of the comment, say I was brought here because it was a Chaos Comment Bomb. So here's an example. Great trailer, looks exciting. Chaos Comment Bomb brought me here in the Shrine of Chaos, or something like that. That's just a suggestion, but really leave whatever you want. And this is a favor to me because this means a lot to me. This film means a lot to me, and when it comes out, I'm very excited to see it. I haven't seen it, obviously, it's not done yet, but I'm excited for it to come out. So here it is. There's the link. Also, if you're watching this in the recorded version on YouTube, the link is in the video description. You'll see it below. And it's an appreciation for your support, if you're willing to do so. Obviously, you don't have to, but this is the one and only Chaos Comment Bomb where I've asked this. Typically, Chaos Comment Bombs are I'm just grabbing some random videos that are 40K related, typically Chaos related, and we just say, you know, Shrine of Chaos sees you, and Dave says hi and wants to give you a hug, you know, stuff like that, kind of silly stuff like this. But this is something that with really a lot of meaning to me. So just so you guys know, and that's that Chaos Comment Bomb. Actually, I'm gonna go back to the video. I'm gonna see the comments update. That's one of my favorite things. That's one of the coolest things. Cool. Yeah, thank you, Barry McAllister and Dave Yesium. I hope I said your name right. I just see your comments first. I don't know if there's more. There's probably a lot more by now. You can refresh, yeah. Thanks, guys, man, for your comments and leaving the comments here. It means a lot to me that you're doing this. Because if this is picked up by... If it's picked up by like a network, a company, more producers, more funders, then there could be a possible part 2 of this film. And if that happens, then this is warranted. This hair that was grown for 1.5 years, I get to keep it longer, and I get to film, and that would be amazing. That'd be so much fun. And when you get a chance, watch the trailer. Get a chance to actually watch it, because it's a cool trailer for an independent film For an indie film, I'm very impressed with this. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. And you know that because I'm showing it off, right? If I was part of something and I wasn't proud of it, I wouldn't be showing it off. I'd be like, don't look at that. It's okay. Yeah, I'd be embarrassed by it, right? But this is something I'm very proud of. And I'm humbled that I was able to be a part of this. And it was a fantastic experience. And my mind goes back there sometimes. Like, man, it was so much fun being there, filming that, and killing orcs with arrows. And it was a good experience. So, all right, now we're going to go back here. And we're going to open up the Q&A. Okay. I got to update my XSplit because it's not letting me click on these things. There you go. That doesn't tell you. So, Mystics, you're in the chat. If you could please post the phone number for people to call so that they can call into the Shrine of Chaos. If they have a chaotic comment or question that they want to add to the discussion about anything chaos or possibly Blood Angels, whatever they want. Thanks, man. You're a good person who likes people, and I appreciate your life. I'm just grabbing the phone right now. Welcome to the Shrine of Chaos. Do you collect Tau?
No, I do not, Dave.
Oh, excellent. Then you may enter the Shrine of Chaos. How are you, good sir?
Good, how are you?
Great. And what is your name?
I am Jordan.
You are Jordan. Where are you calling from?
Illinois.
Illinois. Have you called before on the show?
No, I have not.
Very first time in the universe that you're calling the Shrine of Chaos.
Yes.
Then I welcome you, and this is your home, and you can stay as long as you like.
Awesome, thank you.
Do you have a chaotic comment or question?
I do have a question. So, if I were to start a Chaos Army, what would you suggest?
Like Chaos, just regular Chaos Space Marines?
Normal Chaos Space Marines.
Ooh, that's like going back in time and wondering which one I would do. But if I was starting completely from scratch, absolutely completely from scratch, what would I do? I would choose an HQ and build around that. And which HQ would I choose? That would be the question now. The HQ that I would choose would probably be Abaddon the Despoiler or Typhus. Abaddon because you get your Black Legion. You can use a Black Legion Codex supplement. And you can have your Terminators with better weapon skill. Because those are fun. They make Terminators viable now. And they've chosen your troops' choices. So that's fun as well. I like bringing a lot of Meltas. And when they're troops and you get objective secure, that's even better. And Typhus because you make your cultist plague zombies. And who doesn't like zombies that are fearless and that just scare people with feel no pain? I think that's what I would do. I would start with one of those two.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That all sounds really, really good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have... Okay. You know what? And to add to that, because now you open it up, man. Now you just... You did it. So if I had to add to that... If I had to add to the Abaddon army, I would definitely get... I would get a lot of Chosen... Right, and I would put good weapons on them. I would put Meltas for sure, and I would put Flamers. Meltas and Flamers. Not Plasma Guns so much, because I've had too many bad experiences with Plasma Guns and them killing me too much. And so that's just frustrating. So Plasma, or Flamers and Meltas. And in Rhinos, because you don't want them foot slogging. That's just embarrassing for people. You would probably need to get a Land Raider as well, because Abaddon, he's a close combat beast. And you don't want him foot slogging as well. You want him to be up there attacking stuff. And so that's why you need your Terminators as well. You kind of need his retinue of guys to soak up some wounds and to kind of keep him company. He doesn't like being lonely. He's one of those social people that likes to talk to people. So them and a Land Raider. And actually, yeah, no, that works because you can bring 3 or 4. And then also in addition to that, Helldrakes, because Helldrakes are Helldrakes, and they're flyers, and they got Bell Flamers with Strength 6 AP3, and they can kill other Marines. So they're going to make you have fun as well. And, yeah, Cultists.
So I will definitely have to look into that.
Yeah, I would get Cultists as well, man. Cultists are your fodder, and they're the guys that just have a million attacks. And they're guys that you don't care about. Cultists, okay, here's another case. Like I said, you open it up, man. If you're going to get Cultists, you got to get Hellbrutes, because you got to have that Hell Cult formation, because that Hellbrute makes those Cultists fearless. And when he dies, it gives them Zealot. And also, when they shoot at the Hellbrute, your enemy, your Cultists give him a 3-up cover save. So that just makes that awesome. So that's another thing you got to add to your army. So I think I'm answering the question. It would definitely be Black Legion. It would be all that stuff that I just said.
Awesome. And just to give you some context, I'm asking because I currently collect Necrons, and Chaos is one of their 2 allies.
Ah, okay. And then that is one of those excellent things that shall be done in the new year.
Oh, yes. That is something I plan on starting.
And you know what? You have one of those pleasant voices where I know that if you pulled up a chair to the cosmic table and had discussions about chaos, that you would fit right in and eat chicken wings until your heart's delight.
Well, chicken wings are amazing, so...
Yes. And you know what? I say that. I take a risk saying that, because there's a lot of people that don't eat meat. But I just said that. You know, I shot in the dark there. And I meant that as a pun, because we are at the cosmic table, and it is dark up there.
Of course.
Okay, brother. Well, it's always great having you in the Shrine of Chaos. I say that like you've been here 10 times your first time here, but you're always welcome here.
All right.
Any last words?
Thank you very much, Dave.
Okay. Well, have yourself a great day. Happy wargaming, and may the dice gods roll in your favor.
You as well, good sir.
All right, so let's take another call. Thank you, Mystics, for leaving that number in the chat there for people to call in case they want to call in and have a chaotic comment or question. I put a few cakes in front of that. That makes me want some chocolate cake, but right now I'm eating better, hence the carrots. I'm going to chew this until I get another call. And hopefully I'm not chewing in their ear, because that's just rude. I'm chewing in front of all you guys. That's rude too. Welcome to the Shrine of Chaos. Do you collect Tau?
I hate Tau.
Then you will. You're my brother for life. Enter the Shrine of Chaos.
There.
You may enter. What is your chaotic comment or question, my good man?
Dave, it's Riziel here, the classic Dark Angels man.
Yes.
And I have a question for you, which relates
Okay.
both that and Chaos, which is Cypher and the Fallen, and now the ability to use both. I mean, what do you think about that? Have you looked it over?
Like their fluff is amazing. I remember reading their fluff when I was doing the 40K history videos. I'm like, man, those guys are sick. They're cool. As for like gameplays, what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, he's kind of shooty and hit and runny and Eternal Warrior and
like beefy.
He also gives. I have to say this. He gives and they shall know no fear to his Chaos guy.
Okay, hold on. This is something I have not looked into. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up and tell you that. And what I need you to do me a favor. You gotta send me a link to where I can look up more, because that sounds something that I'm gonna ask for my birthday. Yes. Oh man, what do I think of that? I think that sounds like happy news.
It's a bit limited. I think he only gives it to like the 1 unit, but.
Hey, that's 1 unit of, hey, here's they shall know no fear in your face. Like that sounds fun.
Yeah, plus so he has he does the 2 pistol thing. He doesn't draw his sword, but he gives him an in-bowl, I think. He has an in-bowl and he's Eternal Warrior, but then he has a
Gunslinger?
pistol 10.
He's what, 10?
Doesn't get hot.
It doesn't get hot, so strength 6 then?
It's like a plasma pistol, but it doesn't get hot, and then he strikes with it in close combat too, which is really interesting.
That's a good thing to do. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hitting with butt of gun is what makes people embarrassed. So I'm all for that, man.
There's some weird like point shenanigans with him too. Like there's the whole capturing thing, and you get 3 points if he doesn't get captured, or you lose 3 points if he does. It's kind of interesting stuff.
Yeah, I definitely have to look into that, because Hey, anything goes, man. In the bat reps, I like. Hey, I like unbound stuff, right? So I would attach that to my army and just feel it on the battlefield, and like release it like a wrecking ball. Yeah, but just don't put them on it like without clothes, because that's not good for. All right, do you have another comment or question?
Well, no, I've noticed that that you maybe have a little lack of familiarity with the Dark Angels in general, because playing against Steve those couple of times recently, I almost started to think that maybe you feared them a bit. So I was like, oh no, we can't have this. It's a great matchup.
Well, you fear what you don't know, and I know them not. I've only fought against them like in this edition, like. The bat reps that you've seen with Steve are the only times that I've ever fought against them. So I have very little experience with them. So I'll.
That makes no sense, because they're like the ultimate sort of matchup, Chaos and VA, and I think they'll go good with the Blood Angels too. So
when you say matchup, do you mean allied matchup?
Well,
because you did say Cypher and Fallen. You did say Cypher and Fallen. So are you talking about allies, or are you talking about like?
Yes. Cypher and Fallen will work. You can actually ally him that way with the Dark Angels. Now they updated his slate, but I mean, my question was more for Chaos. But,
oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, as far as like a matchup, no, they're basically against each other, you know.
Yeah. No, that makes right. Yeah, they have hatred towards Chaos, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why I don't like fighting against them, because that's just unfair.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. It's tough, but Chaos does have some stuff.
Yeah, Chaos has Veterans of Long War, which is hatred against all Marines, so it's not like that's unfair.
Yeah. So you're gonna re-roll the entire game. Everybody's gonna re-roll against each other.
Yes. In fact, I seem to remember that. This sounds very familiar in my mind. This was happening with Steve and I.
Yes. I remember that well. And he brought Deathwing, which they're really slow. And I was telling him in the comments, I was like, you gotta get your Ravenwing up, because they're really nice as well. And I know you bring a lot of Chaos bikes, or often, so it's pretty fun.
So you know what I'm gonna do, because with the Blood Angels now, you can bring those grab guns. So I'm gonna be feeling those against his Deathwing, because that's what he deserves. That's what I want to do.
Yes, you'll wound him on his armor save. That's right.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna wound him more.
So
right?
yeah, so two ups on wounds.
Those are salvos, right?
That's pretty good.
Those are 2-3 salvos.
I think that you can. I think that they have a salvo rule. If you're there's a couple of different things. I think maybe the cannon has a little bit different rule. I don't know. Can we take the cannon in Blood Angels? Because I'm starting Blood Angels too.
I don't know. I can't answer that, because I didn't. I looked over it and I just saw, oh, cool, salvo, but I didn't check if it was a salvo gun or graviton or whatever it's called. I don't even know, man. I only like.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I only brought grab guns like once or twice in bat reps that I've done, and that's when I fielded Smurfs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know they work really well against monstrous creatures, of course.
Yes.
And so that could be interesting. And I actually want to ally the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels, because I want to see some Death Company and Ravenwing fighting side by side.
You know, that would be sick too. I know that would be sick.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Need a little bit of heavy support, and that would be interesting to watch them go against Chaos as well. So
Absolutely.
Very assaulty. There'll be lots of assaulting going on everywhere.
Yes, a lot of assaulty, a lot of peppery, and some some soup with that, because we all want to eat while we're fighting alongside each other. Can't forget to eat. Very important.
Yeah, sorry.
In fact,
Absolutely.
In the Purge the Heretic mini narrative campaign that we just finished, that's what that problem was about. If you haven't seen it already, take a look at that, and that's what the whole thing was about, man.
I've been watching it slowly, and I do respect the White Scars because they're a bike army, but they're not necessary for me because I have so much Ravenwing. So I don't have any White Scars. I do have some Codex stuff, but so I think I even left a comment saying, "This is awesome, but there should also be Ravenwing."
Well, let me ask you this: do Ravenwing have Strength 5 Hammer of Wrath?
They don't have the Hammer of Wrath. They're a little bit more shooty than say like the White Scars. You bring the Black Knights, they can basically do everything that the White Scars can do, except they don't have that Hammer of Wrath type of deal, and their basic bikes don't have Skilled Rider.
Do they have +1 of their Jink?
They do.
Because
they can, because the Black Knights have it, and then you bring the Dark Shroud, which the Dark Shroud is just a speeder with a cover bubble. Gives everything, I think, Stealth or Shroud or whichever it is.
Well, that's a big difference, man. Which one is it?
Yeah, and you can, it's the +1.
Okay, so Stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a big
so you get
difference.
+1. So you have Skilled Rider +1 cover.
Yeah.
For, I think, around 100 more points. But that's cover bubble, so it hits anything in the rage.
Right. Oh, okay. So that's better. I would say that's better.
It's more
They
like,
win.
More like a Venom Thrope, I guess.
Right. Now you're saying names of
But
bugs,
it's the
and I'm
only-
thinking of cockroaches.
It's the only Space Marine unit I know of, model that I know of, that gives a cover bubble.
Right.
So it's kind of...
Were they trying to be like a custom force field? I think they stole that from the orcs. That's what I think.
Dark Angels are really strategic. They don't have like a lot of like blatant power up in your face. Like you don't play them kind of as a, I don't know, like a really finesse player. You have a chance of losing.
Yes. I understand. And you know what? Steve,
Link up stuff and use power field generators and all that.
I actually remember this. After Steve and I did our first campaign together, he collected Eldar. He actually collected Eldar specifically for the campaign, and he painted up in time for the campaign. He said, so what army should I collect next? And I suggested Dark Angels. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's why he collected...
It's a great army, I think. It's a really important army for MWG to have because it's the starter set army, along with Chaos.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of majority players that are starting are going to have it.
That's true as well.
Of course, now with the new campaigns, you can get in, like you can get into Orcs and Space Wolves and then Blood Angels and Tyranids, and I assume they'll bring out more. And that's all good stuff, absolutely. So.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, they're...
So, you are always welcome back in the Shrine of Chaos. I'm going to let you go now, and I'm going to take one more call.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're a good person, man.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Appreciate
I cut him off there. I didn't mean to do that. So if you're watching this, you're going to see 10 seconds later. I apologize for that. But one more call is going to come in. And, well, hopefully it comes in. If it doesn't in the next 5 seconds, then we're just not going to have another call. And we're going to end the show. Because it's best to end the way that when you're on top. It's like Michael Jordan quitting basketball when he was like the best player. That's my comparison. I think it's been like 5 seconds. You know what? Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Shrine of Chaos. Do you collect Tau?
No. No Tau at all.
No Tau whatsoever?
Nope.
Not if I would say, here's $1 million?
Nope. If I ever did have Tau, they would be surrounded by a bunch of corn berserkers, ripping it apart.
Oh, that's music to my ears, man. You may enter the Shrine of Chaos. What is your name, good sir?
It's heretical ammo.
Heretical Ammo. You know, I recognize your name because I've read it before, recently.
Yes, I was the guy who came back from playing a game with the new Blood Angels an hour ago.
Okay, then you are the man that I am to talk to today. This was inevitable. This was going to happen. This is fate. So what is your chaotic comment or question?
Well, as for... I've already asked about it before, but yeah, since you haven't seen the new bases, I'm going to completely forget about that. But, the Shield of Baal, the Exterminatus book that are going to be coming out, would you believe that that is, the supplement book that's going to be for Blood Angels?
And do you know what is in such book?
New relics, new warlord traits, and I think about 8 formations from what I've read.
Where'd you read this?
White Dwarf.
Okay. Yes. That's a very good place. That's a very good source.
I'm always relying on...
Probably. It's kind of like the source. Yeah, and I've just been so busy with stuff, I didn't read that yet. So, I'll be honest about it, man. I just didn't read it yet, but I will read it now that I know that. A lot of things to keep track of, man. But thanks for telling me that, because since you told me that, I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to be very excited when it comes out. Shield of Bell? That's what you're talking about?
There's already... Actually, I'm currently looking at at this week's White Dwarf, and there's already 3 formations for Blood Angels and 1 for Necrons.
You know what? That makes sense. Yeah, I get it now. You know, I'm going to check, actually, to see if we have that White Dwarf, because I mean, you had it. When did you get it?
I just got it yesterday, actually.
Yeah, just yesterday, right? Did you buy it, or does it come in your mail? Do you have a subscription to it?
I bought it.
You bought it, okay. So it actually should be kicking around the office somewhere. So I should go pick that up and read it. That's important.
Yep.
But
just like when I picked up my Sanguinary Priest model, the new one.
yeah, that's right. There is a new model for it. That's right.
Yep.
I'm getting. How many did I get? I think I got 4 of those. I got 4 of them. Because before I was proxying everything.
Pretty model.
It's better looking, and I like new models. It's fun getting new models. I remember when Chaos Mutilators came out. Not the best model to have in the game, but it was a cool looking model, so I got a bunch of them and just added it to the army.
Yep.
Yeah, new models are good.
Thing, if you by any chance have seen the changes, over Brother Corbulo with the Red Grail, have you noticed the changes with that?
I did notice there were changes, yes. I didn't, when I was doing my skim, when I was reading over the stuff, I didn't focus on it, but I knew that, I saw, I'm like, yeah, that's different, that's different. I kept on doing that when I was like looking at stuff. But what's your opinion on them? What do you think?
For what the Red Grail does is increases your initiative and weapon skill by 1.
So all friendly units that are Blood Angels within 6 inches of him, they add 1 to their weapon skill and initiative. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you personally believe that from the 5th ed, or like I said, if I'm also remembering, if I find the Codex, that it gave a 4-up feel no pain, and it gave Brother Corbulo a 2-up feel no pain.
Yes, that's right. But instead, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned about that. And another concern, I would also believe, Captain Tycho. If you ever looked at him, he lost his dead man's hand.
Yeah, see, I never fielded him before, so I didn't. That didn't stick out to me. But I am getting him. I'm getting all of the models, regardless of whether or not they're good or not.
Oh, yeah, same here. I plan on getting all the models because, there's also, besides playing Warhammer 40K, it's also fun just to collect the models.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. But if I had to choose between Captain Tycho and Tycho of the Lost, I'd probably choose Tycho of the Lost. He looks like he's better.
How so?
He looks like he's better. He's got...
I mean, what really just concerns me with Tycho the Lost, Death Company would be best for, shoving them into melee.
Uh-huh.
And they are just gruesome, especially in my game today when I fielded them. I just had a simple 5-man squad of Death Company, and I had the Martis with them.
Uh-huh.
And I was playing against Astra Militarum.
Right.
And they were just ripping apart everything in their way.
Right.
But, for Captain Tycho, for Tycho the Lost, it just seems weird because of the fact he has no melee. And yet he also still has a higher weapon skill.
Huh. Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. I'm like, that is actually right. Why does he not? That's weird.
Yeah, because back in 5th, he had Dead Man's Hand, which is almost as powerful as a power fist.
You know what? Maybe that's a typo. I'm hoping, anyway.
I'm hoping there might be something about that.
Oh, weird. He doesn't have any. That is weird. I wonder if you're able to... No, he's a special character. Typically, you can't bring a special weapon on them. They have their own weapon, right?
Yep. His combat bolter.
So he's got a 18-inch Melta. Mastercrafted Melta.
Yeah, that's one use only.
Oh, that's true. It is only one use only. What? Is this guy no good for anything?
I mean, I remember back in 5th that he was definitely good because of the 10-man hand.
You're breaking up there, man.
So, guess there might be some connection. There was a bit of a storm here just a minute ago.
Okay. That's all good, man. Yeah, so this is weird. I don't think I'd bring him at all. I wouldn't want to. But, you know, for narrative purposes, I would field them for stuff, right? But, like, competitive game, if it was a pie plate challenge, I would not bring them.
No.
No.
And, you know, I more prefer Asteras the Grim.
For Death Company?
Yeah, with a bunch of Death Company.
Yeah.
Because that's just an unstoppable tide right there.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Even in the old Codex, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do.
Oh, yeah. Now, I only really just got one more thing, and this is over Chaos, specifically the Helldrake.
Okay.
I was recently in a game against a guard and Tau player, and apparently, due to the Black Library, the Helldrake no longer has Torrent on their the Baleflamer.
Is this an FAQ from?
This is actually something the Black Library written up.
Like under
I was
Chaos?
able to give you the source. I would have given it to you, but I lost it after the game.
You better believe I'm looking that up right now.
Yes, because it was a serious thing when he showed it to me. I know I saw it, but to me, it's still so much of a hard thing to believe that the Helldrake would lose the Torrent.
Okay, I'm not seeing that, man. Not in the updated for 7th edition Chaos Space Marines. What it does say is, how do I determine the arc of sight for a Helldrake's ranged weapon? It's to treat the Helldrake's ranged weapon as a hull-mounted weapon, measuring all ranges and line of sight from the barrel of the gun. But since it's still a torrent, you would measure from that and go out 12 inches. It doesn't lose the torrent special rule. It doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I would rule.
That's some hiding there.
Yeah, I don't know where.
That outplayer's trying to use some Eldar trickery and it just didn't work.
Oh, with the Eldar trickery, I tell you, man. Death from the.
My ally was a Space Marines player. He was using Iron Hands. He's also an Eldar player as well. So it's just like, are you just secretly trying to give Eldar trickery behind my back?
Yeah. You know what, man?
Please.
I'm even looking into Death from the Skies. Like I'm trying to find where it would be. Okay, let's look at the regular rulebook one. No, that wouldn't be there either. See, I don't know where he's getting this from. Did he show you?
Yeah, he actually showed me, and it was on Black Library's website.
But where? But where though?
Yeah, it's like I said, if I actually saved it, I would have sent it over to the chat, but I might have to go ahead and see if I can try to find it myself again, or ask him if he can find it, because he's definitely making that something to cling on to heavily. Of course, because he doesn't want his town to be fried.
I can understand the want and need to want to live longer, but he's just wrong.
Yep.
That doesn't make sense. You see it? Yeah. Okay. I can't find it anywhere. I'm trying to find it, but nope, not finding it, man.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? That's actually good for me then. So it just shows that I can go ahead and continue on with my touring.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay. Just because I can't find it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. I will say that.
Yes.
It's a possibility that it exists somewhere. I'm just not finding it. So, if you or someone or something finds it, could you please send me a link to it so that I can do that? So I can. I don't want to do it, but if that's what it is now, then I've got no choice, right? But.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's like how I was when I saw it. It's just like, I don't want to do this. I mean, because I'm looking specifically at, my Codex, my physical copy, and it's saying torrent right in front of my face. Every time before I make any of my attacks, I look at it and it says torrent. So it just makes me think, okay, torrent.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, You are always welcome back in the Shrine of Chaos. I like the words that you say, because the words that you say are words that make people happy, that collect chaos. So you're always welcome back. And Blood Angels as well, because that's actually why you called, right?
Blood Angels. Yes.
Yeah, it is. And good.
Memorial Sanguinis.
Absolutely. Good on you for playing the game right before this, too, because that shows dedication and awesomeness. So I applaud you, and respect level has risen significantly. It will stay there for a very long time.
Hey, you know what? I also got to give respect to you as well. You honestly help me collect more of my chaos. You always bring up great bat raps. Show off chaos. And
Hey,
Blood Angels.
thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. Especially in light of all the comments that have been kind of floating around as of late. I really do appreciate that, so thank you.
Yep.
Okay, man.
All right, well.
You're always welcome back,
Good job.
and we'll see you later.
Later.
All right, that's the last call I'm going to take this week in the Shrine of Chaos. Let's see. Let's check the date. Okay, I don't want to give you false. So we're going to resume Shrine of Chaos on the 8th of January. Next Thursday is Christmas Day, and week after that is New Year's Day. So no Shrine of Chaos for the next 2 weeks, but the 8th of January, that's when we're going to resume Shrine of Chaos. Thank you very much for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the discussion, and leave your comments, and cast comment bomb, and have a good year. Have a good New Year and a good Christmas if you celebrate that, and if you give gifts to people, especially gifts of chaos. I recommend those. This isn't even the phone ring, it's the other ring. So I know that's not anyone calling the Shrine of Chaos. Anyway, happy wargaming, and we'll see you in the Shrine of Chaos in the new year.